wife cheated on husband, so husband also cheated on wife. For 7 years, and I was a faithful husband who worked his tail off for my wife, believing she was faithful to me as well. That all changed when I reconnected with a friend from high school. We had dinner and afterwards talked about our lives since high school. He had been married once, until he found his wife in bed with another man. He told me that his experiences with women was that close to half of them will cheat on their husbands, and that the best sex a man can have is with these women, because they eventually end the affair themselves. I told him he was full of shit, so he asked me if I had the courage to test his views. I accepted his challenge and allowed him to attempt to seduce my wife. My one non-negotiable condition was that he had to wear an eavesdropping device the entire time he was physically present with her, as well as showing me all text messages between them. At first I was confident that my wife would put him in his place. I was shocked and hurt to find out that not only did she not stop him, but that she actually returned the sexually explicit messages back to him. My loving wife was sexting with another man behind my back. This went on for a month until my friend asked her if she wanted to spend an afternoon with him. She readily agreed and told him I was going to be out of town, visiting my mother who had gotten sick and was recovering. I was fit to be tied with pain and outrage towards my wife, until my friend calmed me down and said to me that he was not going to meet her, and would stop all communications with her, no more contact. After I recovered my composure, I accepted his offer and thanked him for it. The following days, my thoughts were constantly on what I discovered about my wife, and how a stranger was able to know my wife better than I could ever hope to. 2 weeks passed and my friend called me to find out how I was doing. I told him I was struggling with the reality of the situation, and that my wife had picked up on my behavior, and had been asking me multiple times what was wrong with me. I said to him that I lied to my wife, and told her that it had to do with my company's upcoming organizational restructuring, with the possibility of massive layoffs, as well with my concern for my mother's health issues, and not to worry about me because I would be fine. He told me he could relate considering his experience with his ex-wife. He further told me that if he were to ever remarry, it would only be with the consent of his potential wife to agree to a polyamorous relationship. I chuckled quite a bit and wished him the best of luck with that. He asked me if I wanted to hang out with him the upcoming weekend, that I had planned to be out of town. I said I first needed to make a call to my mother, but that I would be okay with it and would be open to any suggestions on his part. He told me not to worry and that we would have the best weekend ever. I called up my mom and I was happy to find that she was up and about, feeling better than ever. She told me not to worry about her and that I should instead enjoy my weekend. I called my friend up and told him to lead on. The out-of-town weekend came and I kissed my wife goodbye. Still somewhat heartbroken from finding out who she truly was, I picked up my friend and on the way out of town, I asked him if my wife had tried contacting him. At first he was somewhat hesitant to answer, but he said yes. He said that he told her that she would have to take a rain check on their get-together, because of some work-related issue he had to attend to first. He said he stopped responding to her texts but continued from her part, and become more and more sexually graphic. I asked him if he could show them to me, and he asked me if I was sure that I was strong enough not to fly off the handle if he provided them to me. I told him yes, since I had already endured the worst pain possible, and that I no longer viewed my wife with the same eyes as before all of this. I said out loud, what the shit? The woman who was my wife had been replaced by sex-addicted skank. Never during our courtship and subsequent marriage did she ever act in such a way towards me. My friend said that her behavior is very typical of cheating wives, and that during his sexual encounters with married women, he would ask them if they ever behaved in such a raunchy manner towards their husbands. The cheating wives answered no, because they were afraid that their husband's view of them would change to that of whores, and in turn lose their respect forever. As if betraying their husbands wasn't enough in having their fears realize, he rolls his eyes. We arrived at our destination, and my friend tried to cheer me up by saying not for me to worry about anything, because had our itinerary all planned out and after this weekend my life would change for the better. He guaranteed it. I said to him to lead on. Once in our room he started making a few calls, and said that he had booked reservations to one of the best steak houses in that city. He wasn't kidding. The food was some of the best I've ever had. The next stop was at a dance club, where we were seated in very comfortable sofa-style seats. My friend ordered a bottle of Hennessy and 4 glasses. I asked him why 4 and he said that we would soon be having company. I thought by company he meant 2 more men, but I was wrong. After a few minutes, company had arrived. 2 of the most attractive looking women came to us, and my friend greeted both with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. He made introductions and had them take a seat. The women drank their cognac fast and were chatty as hell with us. They were funny and charming. We danced with them quite a bit and drank some more. We left the club, flagged a taxi, and headed back to the hotel with the women. Both my friend and I began hot make-out session with the women in the taxi. I felt bad for the taxi driver only being able to look at the party we were having but not able to participate. Once in our room, everybody's clothes came off and the feast fest began. Never in my life could I have ever imagined of participating in a weekend-long sexual encounter with 2 lovely women. That began on Friday night and continued until midday Sunday. To say that I was a changed man is an understatement, because before I discovered who my wife truly was, I would have never allowed myself to cheat on my wife. Now I don't give a shit if she is screwing another man, so much so that I even told my friend that he could fuck my wife anytime he wanted. He said he would do it only if he was certain I could handle it. I say, oh, I can handle it. I still have sex with my wife, but every time I do my mind is on the 2 women I fucked that weekend with my friend. Though I never sought out to betray my marital vows, I ended up doing so because the woman I devoted my life to had not reservations in betraying me given the chance to do so. Ironically, I still love her, but I am no longer in love with her. I don't know what the future holds, but maybe this marriage may be salvageable, but it would require a total commitment to complete, and total honesty from both our parts. I will do my part, but if she is unwilling to do hers, then it is only a matter of time before I pull the plug on this marriage. I am now in far better place to live without her than I believe the reverse being true.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share and subscribe my channel for more such stories.